I was out for a walk one day in Hollister, Missouri, and I took the old scenic Hollister stairs. I started getting really dizzy, and then I heard a backfire. And I kind of reached for a weapon which I wasn't carrying, and I got in this weird mode and grabbed onto the rails. My heart just triggered, and I went into this full-blown panic attack. The reason walking up those stairs on a sweltering day is it reminded me of Brazil. Just the way that the trees were and the stairs and the heat. But why? Why did that trigger me? I lived in Brazil for 6 years. I moved there when I was young. I was looking for new experiences and wasn't really sure what to do with life. I had been playing music on cruise ships for about 3 years. And got to see all these countries and different experiences, and I thought I wanted to go somewhere different, to Brazil. It was hard to make friends. I didn't know the language. I started learning the language though, and I'm fluent in Portuguese now. But while I was there, I got a very terrible phone call. So let me back up a bit. A year earlier, before I moved to Brazil, my brother, Trey Francesco Porfirio, U.S. Air Force, was shot 3 times in the back on a military installation in Afghanistan.
That day at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, an airman and ambush survivor who made national news has died. Sonu Wasu live with an update on a hero and medical miracle. Sonu.
Well, Mark, we don't know yet why Trey Porfirio died. All we know is that the 22-year-old senior airman was visiting family in Missouri when he passed away suddenly. His death comes exactly 1 year after he was shot 3 times in the back by insurgents in Afghanistan. The bullets shattered Porfirio's stomach. In a groundbreaking procedure that got national attention, doctors removed his bullet-ridden pancreas and flew the organ to the University of Miami, where doctors harvested islet cells from the pancreas and transferred them to his liver. The procedure saved Porfirio from living life with a severe case of diabetes.
The injuries that he sustained to that region of the abdomen, some surgeons call that's the soul.
Internally battered, Porfirio's will to survive was still strong. In an interview with me in March, Porfirio said he had a lot to live for.
Yeah, we have a boy on the way next Monday. Can't wait. It's so exciting.
Those who knew Trey Porfirio are hoping that little boy is just like him. Trey Porfirio, 22 years old, a self-proclaimed combat nerd, an American hero, and a medical miracle.
Put me in a down spiral in Brazil. I was teaching English there at the time. And actually, I was making okay money doing that, American teaching English. Then I got robbed one day. You know, right after my brother died. I was walking down the road. I just got paid for an English class, and I was walking in this city block in Santos, São Paulo, Brazil, and this guy jumps out and like cracks me with a revolver, and then this other dude, they kind of pull me into a corner, you know, and shit, guns in my mouth, I'm getting robbed, and I had my American documents with me, and they let me know that's the reason they didn't kill me. Because typically down there it's latricide. They kill you and then they rob you. It's just, that's how it is down there. That was the day I learned what Brazil really was like. Well, I had also been going to a shooting range during that time.
Eu falo, calma, rapaz, calma, eu não quero olhar, eu vou pegar minha carteira, tá bom?
Que pariu, só foi queimar a roupa, hein?
But I was going to a shooting range and I had a few buddies there, and I made a police report, told them what happened. They said, you know, we're going to take care of it. And the day after, they let me know that they took care of it. I didn't realize what that meant until I did. And then they're like, hey, we could use someone like you to help us out. So I started rolling with these guys, and then all of a sudden I was in a totally different world. I was mad that someone killed my brother. So an all-out gang war was breaking out. I said, all right, payback time.
Então você vai ficar quieto aqui. Se você tentar fugir, você
Não, tô querendo me gravar, não. Ninguém vai me gravar aqui nessa porra.
Você tá ficando agressivo. Vai pro chão, vai.
The first time that I was in a shootout feels really odd for me to say that. I'm an artist, actor, director. The first time I was in a shootout, there was nothing. Bullet hit, everything went black, and then everything was normal, and my gun was empty, and I was in a stance. My people were okay, and the other people weren't okay. And it was so fast. My brain acted, it did everything it was supposed to do. Their brains did everything it was supposed to do. And we got really lucky, you know? So I lived through that for like 4 years. Trained in a hospital during that time with paramedics and trained with doctors. I wanted to expand my knowledge, so I kept teaching English. I actually did a few acting gigs down there while all this was going on. But things got so intense at one point, I couldn't do it anymore, because one day, a good friend of mine that was a doctor, he was a heart surgeon. We were all at the gun club, and he left to go do an emergency heart surgery for a child. When he showed up to the hospital, a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old walked up to his car and pulled guns out on him. Said, "Give us the keys to your car." He had his hands up, he got out of the car, they got in the car, they shot him, ironically, right through the heart, and he died right there on the scene. That set off a whole different thing. I realized I had to leave Brazil. I wanted to get out of there, so I got the last bit of money that I had, didn't say goodbye to anybody. I mean that. I was by myself in the end there. Didn't say goodbye to anybody, didn't have anyone to say goodbye to at that point. Knowing that I cared about, I was on medication from a doctor and just a zombie, and I didn't care. So I was so convinced I was gonna die that I went pretty much hid out at different hotels until my flight day. I had to wait 2 weeks after I got my ticket for the flight. 2 weeks, and luckily my dad was waiting for me, so he knew I was showing up. But I made it. I left Brazil. And then I landed in Mexico City. Oh.
Está 6:30 de manhã. Entonces vámonos a pegar la bagaje. Pronto. El Ciudad de México. So first they had me wait in the wrong line for over, I don't know, 2 hours. Even after asking them. To Mexico City to go on a connection to Cancun, which then will bring me to Atlanta. Mexico City Airport is the worst airport I've ever been to.
Landed in Atlanta. That was a moment though, honestly. I can really remember that. I saw my dad waiting for me and my brother TJ, and I hadn't seen them in a few years. And I was like, I'm back. I remember I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I was still bitter at that point with everything that I'd been through, and just questions of why did I choose this, and why did my brother die, and you know. But yeah, I hugged my dad and I was like, okay, I'm back home. And stayed with him for a few months, and thank you, Dad. I needed to do something with my life. I said, I've got to get back to acting, and I want to direct, I want to do movies. That's what I've always wanted to just full-time do. So I threw a dart in Branson, Missouri. Why not? I could go get some acting jobs, and that's what I did. So
I'm just here to make money.
I told you not today, man.
He was alive!
Lots of good people, and then I met Tristan Ray and Clayton Potter, and we started doing short films together and kind of building up together. There was Stingray Films, and I ended up opening Real Film and Hometown Studios, and it just went on, and then I had that panic attack on the stairs. Flashback to Brazil, and flashback to just terrible things. And I was in the middle of a transformation point in my life because I had met my wife that year, and I had just gotten married, and I was happy, and I had 2 new kids in my life, and she is just a wonderful person and very supportive and wants me to do nothing but succeed in my field of acting, directing, and movie making. So I had that anxiety attack, and instead of going, just letting it devastate the rest of my day, I went, I need to make a movie.
Maybe I'm evil. Maybe you're cool. You can be somebody's friend. You can be somebody's fool. Maybe I'm guilty. Cause who don't love to bleed?
You know, there's 22 veterans that kill themselves every day because of this type of affliction. And they don't have anybody, but I have a support system. I have a movie. I want to bring awareness. Let's write it. And I talked to Clayton Potter, and he had a great idea for a scene that blended with a military scene that he was working on, and it just blended in, and then we built up the crew, and now here we are. We have a Kickstarter. It's halfway funded, and I'm over the moon about it. But I really just wanted to share this story. If you've watched the whole video, I appreciate it. I wanted to share this story with you. I can't really tell you about the film. You'll just have to wait and see it. If you want to back our Kickstarter, you can go to www.praytheystanddown.com.